Alright, let's move into Bahamut. So we've just finished killing Nail. So at this point, you're going to want to stack because there is going to be another knockback. Bahamut will land and cast 7th Umbral Era. We always stack at 1. Of course, you can go anywhere there's a Neuralink if you want, but we always stack at 1 just for consistency. So this is also where we're going to want to be utilizing our Take Limit Break. So if you have Tank Limit Break 3, you want to use it immediately after the knockback. If you only get Tank Limit Break 2, then you're going to want to use Tank Limit Break just before the knockback because it lasts longer, and so you get more mitigation for the knockback itself. So we are all going to get knocked back here to A. As 7th Umbral Era has cast, we're going to do our Limit Break, and then Bahamut will explode and cast several Calamitous Flames that do proximity damage. So you're going to want to stand fairly close to the edge. We have Limit Break 3 here, so it does help mitigate it a lot. As you can see, our Gunbreaker is a little overzealous and running in. So after that, if you have Limit Break 2 as well, I would highly recommend using some sort of like additional raid mitigation other than just shields and heals. We got to where we were using Heart of Light here every time just for consistency purposes, but with Tank Limit Break 2, if we did not have Heart of Light and substantial shielding, we would still die. So, as Ms. Tech likes to say, heal and shield accordingly. So we're going to move to the middle. Bahamut is going to become targetable. If you're pushing to clear, this is a great time to use your potion. And Bahamut is going to do Flare Breath and flatten onto the tank. The raid doesn't need to worry much about this. This is just a series of busters that you need to handle. And then we're going to be moving into our first trio. So I'm going to be doing one video for each trio. That way people can take it in bite-sized chunks. So for Quick March, the first thing that we need to do is stack in the middle. We do this because we need to bait the dives that are about to happen. So the bosses will... After Quick March, the bosses will jump and become untargetable, and then they will reappear at a random spot on the outside of the arena. This can be anywhere on the outside of the arena, but all 3 bosses will always appear next to each other. Once this happens, markers will appear, and they will snapshot the dives. I never waited for the markers to appear. I don't think you have to. I think just as soon as they land, you can just run out. I never had any issues with that. So as soon as they land, you run out to your spot. So you find them and you move out. This is where we're going to be utilizing our Quick March spread positions. So everything that we do in this section will be relative to where the bosses spawned. So true cardinal directions do not matter. When I reference, north, south, anything like that, that's going to be assuming that the bosses are relative north. So we're going to be spreading into our Quick March spots here and running out. So I am R4, so I'm going to run to my spot. So I saw where they ran or saw where they spawned, and then I'm going to be running out to my side. So one thing, this is really helpful. We actually are not using nearly as much space as we have, but if your tanks can get really good at knowing where to be, next to Nail or next to Twintania on the other side, then everybody else can line up accordingly. The reason that we do this is because as soon as the trio dive bombs, there's going to be uncasted twisters. So what some people do is they look for the cast bars here. I found it to be really helpful to just watch the animations of the characters. So I move out, and then as soon as you see the 3 of them kind of lift their heads up and get ready to charge, you can move in. So they lift up their heads and get ready to charge in, so we can start moving, and that is going to bait our twisters. You can see those twisters appearing back here. After the twisters appear, 4 random players will get selected to drop towers on the ground. So these are not soakable towers. These just explode and do damage. So as soon as they spawn, you don't want to be in them. And a couple of things will happen here. So we have our 4 random towers. You just don't want to be in those. At the same time, 3 DPS will get selected for Mega Flare. So what Mega Flare is, it's a stack mechanic. So the 3 DPS need to stack with each other. The DPS who does not get selected, which is me in this case, will get an Earthshaker. Each healer will also get an Earthshaker, and 2 green tethers will appear that the tanks need to intercept and mitigate through because they will explode around them. But before all that happens, there will also be I think it's 4 people get hit with a random explosion. So I would always prep a cure here, just because without any additional healing or mitigation, I would die to this and then the Mega Flare stack. So, alright, so there was the random people that got hit with the Mega Flares. People are moving in to avoid getting hit by these tower explosions. And so the way that we're going to handle the next set of mechanics is we are going to have our DPS who get the Mega Flares are going to stack relative southeast. The DPS who gets the Earthshaker, which is me in this case, will go relative southwest. And then the healers will go to northeast and northwest based on their quick march positions. The tanks will then intercept the green tethers that appear, and then they will just stand in the same lines, northeast to northwest. The tanks, as the healers, the tanks can get hit by the Earthshaker line and the green tethers. That's perfectly fine, but nobody else can get hit by 2 mechanics at once here. So this is going to be our general setup. Alright, so I am moving to go relative southwest. You can see our Mega Flare stack here is relative southeast, and our healers are getting ready for their Earthshaker positions as well. So you can see how much damage our 3 Mega Flare people took. So it seems random how much damage some people take, but there's always 1 or 2 people that seems to get hit really, really hard. So you do need to be able to heal through this, shield accordingly. We used Shake It Off. And we would put out extra regens and things like that. So the Mega Flare does a lot of damage. You want to make sure you're stacked there, and you also want to do your best to avoid standing in a Neuralink if it's there, because it will reduce the amount of damage that you're doing to Bahamut. The Earthshakers will resolve here, and you can see our tanks have grabbed the tethers as well. So I'm going to back this up a little bit if I can. Back it up a little bit more. Okay, so we just moved for Twisters. The 4 towers have spawned. You can see the Mega Flare stack is getting together. And then, so this actually was a really easy pattern for the tanks to grab the tethers. You usually want to wait until after the Mega Flare resolves if there is a green tether in the stack, because if you get hit by the Mega Flare and then the Earthshaker and then the tether, you will probably die. So I'm going to just rewind this one more time to go through that sequence. So we move in, you move out of those towers, you have your Earthshaker go southwest, you have your Mega Flares go southeast, tether spawn, the tanks grab those, and then they just want to get in line to make sure that no one else is getting cleaved. So we want our healers far away out so that they don't get hit by these tether explosions, which you can see going off right there. Those are those 2 big like tornado-y looking things. As soon as you see that animation, you can move. So you're not going to get hit by that, after that animation goes off. So our healers are working their way back around, and now we just go into a set of 3 tank busters. So there's a Flame Breath. Actually, I think this might only be 2 tank busters, just Flame Breath and Flatten. And then we're going to be moving into Blackfire Trio. Alright, so there was Quick March. Let's do another video for Blackfire.